To God be the glory.
Welcome back to class number 15. We're continuing to proceed through our textbook on Menahem Mansour's Biblical Hebrew Step by Step. And here we want to begin by once again increasing our vocabulary. I hope that you've been working on your vocabulary. You've been staying right up with these vocabulary words so that you have what is really called a working vocabulary. That's what's necessary. All right, let's look at our new vocabulary list right here in lesson number 15. All right, these are words that occur often. The word to hear is shama. To take, lachak. To do or make, asa. To send, shalach. To forget, shakach. To forgive, salach. To read or call, kara. This, when you're talking about something that's masculine, ze. This, when you're talking about something feminine, zot. These, whether it's masculine or feminine, is ele. Ele. La is Torah. And then the word for work is melacha. Word for people is am. And then the word for gift is mincha. Mincha. All right, with these various vocabulary words, what we have seen is a number of verbs, increasing our verb vocabulary so that obviously we're going to be able to translate a lot more. Now, in this last list that we've looked at, there are some things that we do need to take special note of, and that is the demonstrative pronouns this and these. Now, when you have a subject or subjects in the plural, then what you end up using the same demonstrative pronoun, which is ele. Ele. But when you're talking about something in the masculine, you use the word ze. Like if you're talking about a person, like such as me, you'd say ze ish. This is a man, or ish ze, a man, this is, and so forth. You make reference to a book. You'd say sefer ze. And a lot of times you'll hear a Hebrew say ma ze. What is this? Ma being the word, the question, what? All right, so let's look a little bit with these demonstrative pronouns on the bottom of page 85 in your textbooks and talk about the function of these demonstrative pronouns. All right, so it says read the following carefully. For us to say this is a man, or this is the man, or this is a woman, this is a lamp, we'll just look at all of these various possibilities and then stay on the other side. To say this is a man, that would be zeish. This is a man. To say this is the man, we'd say ze ha'ish. If we wanted to say this is a woman, we'd say zot isha. If we wanted to say this is a lamp, since lamp is a feminine word, we continue to use the feminine personal pronoun, zot menorah. We wanted to say these are books, we'd say ele sefarim. We wanted to say these are the books, we'd say ele hasfarim. Wanted to say these are the words or things, we'd say ele hadvarim. We'd say these are the commandments, we'd say ele ha mitzvot. All right, so that gives you the examples of these demonstrative pronouns. It says, hence it is clear that za or ze, this is used for masculine nouns, and then zot, this is used for feminine nouns, and ele, this is used for masculine and feminine nouns when we're talking about the plural. All right, now when we're working and talking about these demonstrative pronouns, let's try to do a real good job of understanding the use of these demonstrative pronouns and understand the use of the masculine and the feminine. And then, of course, the Hebrew is somewhat simplified in the fact that we do have both of them. Ele is functioning for both the feminine and the masculine plural subjects, and that makes it a little bit easier to do. All right, when we continue to consider looking at the demonstrative pronoun, let's look at it when we use it when we're talking in an adjective, making it not a demonstrative pronoun, but a demonstrative adjective. On page 86, this is what we'll see. All right, we say compare the following, and we'll just do all of number 1 together, and then we'll go back and do all of number 2 together. This is a boy, this little boy. All right, now that would all be expressed differently with the Hebrew writing. All right, to say this is a boy, we'd say ze yeled. And then the one right below that, if we'd say this boy, we'd say ha yeled, ha ze. And then if we wanted to say this little boy, then we would say ha yeled, ha katan, ha ze. Now you say, well, why do these have the definite article in there? I don't see the definite article. Well, what is happening is you're talking about a distinctive boy, or in this third one down, a distinctive little boy. And as a result of, because of that, you do use the definite article. So what you're saying is, the lad, namely the little one, namely this one. So this little lad or this little boy would be the way you would use that. And all right, let's also go over here to number 2, and we'll look at all 3 of those together. This is the blessing, this great blessing. All right, now let's see how those 3 would be expressed in Hebrew. All right, we would begin by saying Zot ha-be-raka. That would express this blessing. And then the next one down from there would be to say, this is the blessing, excuse me, is what that first one would be. And then the second one with the definite articles would say ha-be-raka ha-zot, the blessing, namely this one. So that would be translated this blessing. And then we've got ha-be-raka ha-gedolah ha-zot. You're saying the blessing, namely the great one, namely this one. So this great blessing. All right, now let's go to number 3. These are the horses, these beautiful horses. All right, in Hebrew, that would be, these are the horses, would be ele ha-susim. The next one down, to say these horses, we're talking specifically about a group of horses, therefore it would have the definite article. That'd be ha-susim, ha-ele. And then third down, these beautiful horses, ha-susim, ha-yafim, and then ha-ele. You're saying the horses, namely the beautiful ones, namely these. So these beautiful horses. All right, let's go to number 4. these are the commandments, and these good commandments. Translate that into Hebrew. This would be these commandments, or these are the commandments, would be ele ha mitzvot. Say these, and then you have to supply the are, the commandments. The second one down, we're trying to say these commandments. We got ha mitzvot, ha ele. We got the commandments, namely these. That'd be translated these commandments. And then the third one, we got ha mitzvot, ha tovot, ha ele. So we've got the commandments, namely the good commandments, namely these commandments. So these good commandments. All right. Now reading what that says down there and scanning across there, it says, thus the demonstrative adjectives hazeh, hazot, and ha-ele always follow the noun and are used with nouns having the definite article. When demonstrative adjectives are used, the word order is the reverse, underlining that word reverse of that in English. And here's the example that we have on the bottom. If we wanted to say this book or this great book, notice the difference between these two. This book in Hebrew would be translated like this. Ha-sefer hazeh, the book, namely this one, this book. We wanted to say this great book, ha-sefer ha-gadol hazeh, that's this great book. All right, move down to the next example. We translate the book, the great one, this one. We have this great blessing and these small girls. All right, let's look at how that would be in Hebrew. You got ha-berecha, ha-gedolah, hazot. All right, so you've got the blessing, the great, this. All right, so you translate it, namely this one, or namely the great one, the great blessing. And then the one underneath that, ha-yaldot, yaladot, excuse me, ha-ketanot, ha-ele, the girls, namely the small ones, and namely these. So translated, the girls, these small girls. All right. Now, as we see the progression of what we're trying to do here, you notice that when you have a demonstrative adjective, it does have the definite article because you are talking specifically about something. Remember, when we don't use the definite article, we're not talking about a specific girl, or we're not talking about a specific horse, or whatever the subject may be. But what we're doing is we're talking about a specific girl. We're talking about, like in this last one, these small girls, not just any girls, these small girls. Or we're not talking about any blessings, we're talking about this great blessing. And so as a result of that, we're going to be using the definite article. And did you notice that the definite article occurred on all three words? We're wanting to say this great blessing. The blessing, namely the great one, namely these blessings. These is kind of the way that you'd translate that. A little awkward in English, but that's the way it works out in Hebrew. So you're saying these great blessings. All right, now let's go back and look at a general review of adjectives, demonstrative adjectives, and demonstrative pronouns on the bottom of your textbook on page 86. First of all, you see a good man, the good man, and the man is good would be expressed like this. Ish tov would be a man, namely a good one. So that's a good man. Ha-ish ha-tov, that's the good man. Ha-ish tov, the man is good. Or we look at good is the man, this is the man, and this man. Go across and look at that. What we see is the third one down that's clear on the screen. It'd be Tov Ha'ish. Good is the man. Now you say, well, wait a minute, I thought the adjective followed the noun. Well, in this case, what's happening is we're trying to emphasize the quality of the man, not just a good man. Good is the man. And then the one right underneath that, you've got Ze Ha'ish. This is the man. And then Ha'ish Hazeh. You've got this man. And then Ze Ish Tov. So that would say this man is good, or this good man. This is a good man, right? And then the one right below that with the definite article on the bottom of the page, Ha'ish, Hatov, Hazeh, the man, the good, namely this one, and so it would be translated, this good man. And if we move down and just catch the last one down there, this man is good, that'd be Ha'ish, Hazeh, Tov. We're saying the man, this one, is good. So this man is good. All right, that's all of the adjectives. Now let's go down to our next biblical word list. This is our fifth one. The word for mountain, mountains, year, people, and city. So the top one there is Har, which means mountain. Harim, mountains. Shana, it's the word for year. Am, it's the word for people. And Ir as the word for city. All right, continue to learn these words, continue to work on them, know your vocabulary, especially these words that occur often in the biblical text. Now, we do have some study hints that we want to take some time looking at, and one is that the vocabulary words in this lesson are frequently used and hence should be well mastered. Now, you notice that with the feminine demonstrative pronoun, zot, it is spelled Zion, Aleph, Tav. But the Aleph is just, it might as well not even be there because it is silent, it is not pronounced, and that's just something that you'll work on. Also, I want you to notice, and we'll go to the board to demonstrate this, that there is a tremendous difference between the phrase, and I've already got this written on the board, there is a tremendous difference between the phrase Ze Ha-Yeled and Ha-Yeled Hazeh. All right, the difference is this right here is a complete sentence. This is the boy. That's a complete sentence. Whereas this, the boy, namely this boy, is just translated, the boy, namely this one, it would just be translated, this boy. So in this example, Ze is a pronoun, and in the second, it's an adjective right over here. And if the phrase Ha-Yeled Hazeh, which we have down here, is literally translated, it would be the boy, the this one, or namely this one. Here Ze is an adjective, therefore it takes the article along with the noun that it modifies. So note the order of the words when using demonstrative adjectives. The word order in Hebrew is the reverse. It's the reverse of that in English. We wouldn't say boy this or the boy the this one, but that's the way that it's done in Hebrew. All right, let's go over and look at another example that I already have written on the board here. We're saying the book, namely the great one, namely this book. So if we just said the great book, then a person might be talking about almost any book. Maybe we would understand that to be the Bible. If I'm talking about the great book, well, you would maybe understand me to be talking about the Bible. But if I say the book, the great one, namely this one, Hazeh, well, I'm talking, maybe I'm holding up a book. Maybe you're seeing a book and I'm saying this book is the one. All right, so that's the way that you would understand and translate those particular things. All right, so as we continue to work on this, let's now go to the exercises and talk a little bit about the things that are mentioned here in the exercises for the purpose of heightening our understanding and working with our English. I'm on the top of page 88. It says, read aloud and translate the following into English. We'll do the odds together, and you can work on the evens on your own time. Ha-sefer hazeh, this book. Number 3, hayad hazot, this hand. Number 5, ha-seferim ha'ele, these books. Number 7, ha-susot ha'ele, would be these horses. Number 9, ha-seferim ha'ele, that would be these books. All right, now let's move down to the next one. It says read aloud and translate the following into English. We've got number 1, ha'ish tov, that would be translated the man is good. Number 3, ha'ish hazeh, this man. Number 5, ze ha'ish hatov, this is the good man. All right, number 7, hayeled hatsair hazeh, that would be translated this young boy. And number 9, ele ha'anashim hatovim, these are the good men. All right, hopefully as you have worked on these exercises and practiced on them, you're getting the hang of it, and as we go through these together, you're translating these the same way as you're hearing me translate it, and so that you know that your translations are good and that you're on the right track. All right, we also have, and I'll go over to the board to do some of these, we also have some examples that we are to translate into Hebrew, and so that's what we'll do here. Give you some examples of translating these into Hebrew. You might want to stop the tape at this point. Work on, at least work on the odds right now to see if you're doing those correctly, and by then starting the tape back up and see if your answers are the same as mine. All right, so it says translate the following into Hebrew. First thing that we're going to translate is this king. All right, this king. So that's what we want to translate into Hebrew. That would be the king, namely this one. Ha-melech. Ha-zeh, that would be masculine. All right, so that would be the answer to number 1. All right, and number 3, we're wanting to translate this woman. So we'd say the woman, ha-isha. Remember that takes a comets instead of a patak. Ha-zot, the woman, namely this woman. All right. Make sure I'm on the right track. No, I'm sure not. I'm doing I'm doing a different one. We want to do number 3, this great king. I'll just erase that one. Give you that one for free. How about that? We'll do number 3. We want to say this great king. The king. I didn't put that up there either. The king, namely the Great One. All right, and not only that, but this. Ha-zeh. All right, so we've got the King, namely the Great One, namely this one, the Great King. All right, number 5, we want to write the sentence, this great king went into the city. So, we put our verb first, as it usually is in Hebrew, halak. The king went. The king went, not just any king, the great king. The king went, not just any great king, but this great king. I'll go ahead and continue on this line right below here. So, ha-zeh. It's a terrible looking Zion, isn't it? Ha-zeh, this king, this great king, walked into the city. Ha-ir. And that would be like that. All right, so that gives you an example then of number 5. Okay, let's continue on. We'll erase those. Okay, we look to number 7. What we're wanting to do is translate this holy law. So we would say the law. So know that ha-Torah, this law, well, it's a holy law. So ka-dosha, that'd be ke-dosha, since we're adding something on to the end of it. Ke-dosha. And it would be ha-zot, this great law. All right, let's go to the next one. Continue to work, and hopefully you're getting these down as well, that we want to say, this is the holy law. All right, this is the holy law. This, we're emphasizing. So we're say zot, we use the feminine because we're still talking about law, and law is feminine. This law, ha-Torah, this law is holy, the holy law. Ka-dosha. That'd be ha-ke-dosha, like that, with the dagesh and the comments ending right there. All right, now let's continue to the next part, and we'll work on and help you with some of those as well. Stay right here at the chalkboard. And what it asks us to do is give the Hebrew for the following with vowels. We want to say, we remembered. All right, there are 2 different ways we can say that. Let's do it with our, say we want to emphasize we remember, so we say anak nu, like that. Composite shava, anak nu, and remembered, zakar nu. Zakar nu, like that. So we remembered, and when you write it this way, we're emphasizing that we are the ones that remembered. If we had this all by itself, that would say we remembered all by itself. All right, let's go to number 3. Here we're wanting to say he went. Write our triliteral root. how do you express the Cal perfect or the third person masculine singular? Just like this. This is the form that we've learned normally to begin with. He went. All right. We'll go down to number 5, and here we want to say she is eating. So we're going to emphasize she, and then is eating. Notice the ing. Since that's ing, we're going to use the form. Just whoops, that would take a form like that. Here I need to make sure I'm doing that right. All right, she is eating, and so what we're doing here is expressing the ing, and that's something that is going to take the O form right there. And when you have the feminine, normally that would have been a sere, but since we're doing the feminine, it takes the sego. All right, and then number 7, we want to express you, feminine plural, forgive, as like somebody is preaching and saying to a group of women that you need to forgive. This would be 10, like that, 10. And then the word forgive. Feminine ending on that, and we would put the shava right there. You forgive. Now this translates all by itself, the feminine forgive, but we're saying you forgive. All right, we'll go on to number 9, and here we're wanting to say they have known. All right, yada, that's our triliteral root. Now how do I make that they? Well, simply enough, I just put the shirk at the end of that, and that's they have known. All right, number 11. We're wanting to say we remember. All right, or we are remembering. Anak nu. Same as we had just a few minutes ago, composite shava, patak, anak, nu, and then remember, zakar is our triliteral root for remember. But we want to say we are remembering, so we do this and add the im ending onto it, and that's what we have. Zo karim. All right, we'll do one more of this before we move on. And here we're wanting to say, I have eaten. And at this point that's not true, but I hope that it will be in just a little bit. I have eaten. Go ahead and add that ending on to that, and the vowels would be just the same. I have eaten. So you see what I'm trying to do when I write these on the board is when I'm thinking of the verb, I'm trying to think of instantly the triliteral root, such as eat, I knew as akal, or aleph, kaf, lamed, and so I wrote that down, and that was how we got to knowing getting to the point that we were wanting to get to in translating the entire sentence. All right, we'll look at one last one, number 15. We want to say we remember. Again, anaknu. Naknu, just like that. Remember is zakar, right? All right, but I want to make it we are remembering. So I put the holum in there and follow that with that, and then the im ending, and I'm set. So zokarim, we remember. Anachnu zokarim, we are remembering. And I hope that's what you're saying right about now about a lot of these Hebrew vocabulary words and the various forms. And if you've been giving yourself plenty of time and you've been patient, learning languages is not always the easiest thing to do. But if you've been giving yourself some time and being patient, then I feel comfortable and confident that you're able to learn these things and work on these things so that you do, in fact, feel comfortable with the various forms and the vocabulary words of the Hebrew. All right, now let's go to the bottom of page 89, and we have some things that we're asked to translate into English. Once again, I'll pronounce these things, and you practice on your pronunciation as well. First, number 1, Anaknu Rokevim al Hasus Hazeh. All right, we are riding upon this horse. Number 2, Halak Ha-Kelev mean Ha-Bayit El Ha-Kerem. All right, this I'm doing all of them for you, but the dog went from the house to the vineyard. And we'll skip down and just do number 5 next. We got Na Tana Ha-Isha Ta-Fuchim El Ha-Ye Ladot Ha-Ele. And this would say, the woman gave apples to these girls. All right, that concludes our study of this lesson number 15. Once again, we've learned some new things, some exciting things, especially getting a handle on the demonstrative pronouns. Those are things that are really beneficial to learning the Hebrew language. Stay with it. Don't be discouraged. Just go at your own pace and work as best you can with the time that's allotted, and it will soon be a language that you'll love and that you'll be able to be reading the Hebrew Old Testament.